Hey, welcome to the Crazy J Podcast Show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you know what time it is. It is time to do some sports podcasting, talk about the NFL, free agency, trades a little bit here and there, and I'm going to talk about the NBA as well. Just a particular story that everyone knows everything about the Miami Heat player, Mr. Bama Adobe. This is a joke, folks. This guy, I got referees here, and I got uh, Bama Adobe uh, handing them in the basketball. I found this on the internet, so I have to use it. I think the person that made this, he did an essential job. Uh, I think now we know how Wilt Chamberlain got 100 points. Basically, last 5 minutes of the game, or like a lot of people said, in the fourth quarter, the referees, the other guys on his team were purposely giving him the ball. Uh, there was a fouls made to stop the play of the game, to stop the clock from moving, to give him Adobe the ball. And you know what I've heard people say is this: it's not the fact that Kobe Bryant's record was broken. It's the fact that this guy is not a 40-point player. He's not an offensive point uh, player. He doesn't have awesome three-pointers. Doesn't score a lot of points per game. 20 points per game is pretty good for a guy his size. He's a two-dimensional player, a rebounding, defensive player, fast break, kind of that old deal. And when you play a game against uh, Washington Wizards, I still think they should be Washington Bullets, but there's a reason for that, right? When the team's that bad, of course you're not going to play defense, and of course you're not going to be the instigator to say, well, this is dumb, and we're going to stop this guy from scoring the most points against us. And that's something that you have to kind of realize, that if you're a Washington Wizard guy, you will go down as one of the people on that team that allow this guy to have this many points. It is not good for basketball. This is not good for ratings. No one really knew anything about this thing. I was watching the Pistons, for God's sake. I could have turned it to it, but you know what? I was watching Detroit slam the Nets. So, and they took out Cade Cunningham in the fourth quarter. And the same thing with this guy. Why is he playing on a back-to-back game week where he's got to play the next game? That's another point that someone made about. If you go and play back-to-back and you're already up by 30 points, why would you keep continuing to play just to break a record? And this would have not made a better situation if LeBron James did it. Because, again, he's too old to do it. And I think if you want to fix the NBA, you have to, I think they should eliminate at least 5 teams. I think so. I know how the NBA is expanding, but they need to get rid of certain teams that don't really have any currency, all right? I mean, they could get rid of all the Charlotte teams, the Pelicans and the Hornets. They should get rid of those teams. One team should go to the Seattle Supersonics because they've been there for so long. There is something going on with Seattle as well. They're passing a bill that's going to make it difficult for a team or an organization to show back up in Seattle. Something to do with the taxes or the hike of the taxes or something. Not quite sure about that. But what do you guys think about this? Do you think this is a feat of success? Or do you think this is a joke of the century, that you get a guy that doesn't play that great of offensive mindset and he scores 83 points? And I really don't care what he says. I think it's just kind of reminds me of a Globetrotter game when they're up by so many points. It's about entertaining the little kids. I think the people who are going to be impressed by this are people that don't ever watch the NBA. I really do. It's not going to be the people who are like NBA lovers or know things about history about Michael Jordan, LeBron James, the LA Lakers, Chicago Bulls, Detroit Pistons, Boston Celtics. I mean, that is just garbage. This takes away the competition. This takes away things about. This is why the NBA is bad because there's no competition. They didn't even play defense on this guy. Okay, they just let him go right in the lane. If this is the 1990s, he probably would have maybe got 50 points that night, not 83. So there you go, folks. I'm not going to keep talking about it because everyone knows that that is just garbage. All right, moving on with this story, which is just crazy how the NFL, the Ravens, the Raiders, and Crosby, this guy failed his physical. Now, to be honest with you, he's probably in the best shape of his life coming off an injury. You think that he'd be in some form healthier coming off the off season, but he failed the physical. And I'll tell you my opinion about this. What do you actually think about this? But this is what I really think about this Crosby thing. I don't think Crosby wanted to go to Baltimore with a new head coach system. The Baltimore's Ravens owner is kind of crazy in the head, right? It's no different than going from one owner to another when they're both crazy. And you know what? Why would you give up your home in Vegas and go to Baltimore? It's cold, it's freezing, it's not fun in the winter. You're just always cold. So why would he even go to Baltimore? All right. And there's word that he will end up staying in Raider country. But I still think that there's teams out there that will try to grab him. And you know what? If he's 85% going into week 10 or 11 or 12, and he gets to 95% by week 15, I think people would be just fine with that. I mean the organizations would be fine with that. I think since Cincinnati Bengals is another team that that they think that they could trade Crosby to because of this guy, uh, uh, Trey Hendrickson. He's now a Baltimore Ravens, and he came from Cincinnati. So it looks like Cincinnati's just getting bum rushed. I can't imagine losing one of your defensive end guys over a trade, right? And I don't think he wanted to be in Cincinnati anymore. I think maybe he got sick of Joe Barrow's fanatical moments. I mean, he's not like Joe Namath, right? I get it. He dresses up real nice. He's a clean kid. He's got his sunglasses on. But I think Trey Hendrickson, I think he's done with that garbage. He'd rather go to Lamar Jackson, who will actually try to win a game. I don't know. But he signed big deals with that. I mean, I don't know how much he got signed for, but good for Baltimore. I mean, they got a new head coach. They got a new system going on, and they're going to create a foundation with the football defensive end. So congratulations to that, right? I want to talk about the Detroit Lions for the last thing to talk about. Detroit Lions parted ways with Khalif Raymond. He's now with the Chicago Bears with Ben Johnson. He's reuniting with that team. Well, he's reunited with Ben Johnson. I think the scheme of things is that Khalif Raymond wanted an offense coordinator that would play into his style or a style that he knows pretty well. And I think that Khalif Raymond is a smart man to go back to going with Ben Johnson. Alex Azanoni went to Tampa Bay. And I think it was expected he was going to go to the Jets. But maybe he wanted to leave because he kind of thought that the era of Detroit Lions were coming to the end in this era of Detroit. I can't tell you. Detroit does have 9 draft picks, so so they got a couple 4 and 5s and 6s. I think they have one first round draft pick that's pick number 17. So I think Detroit's going to have to get a couple of defense line guys, maybe a cornerback. Detroit did sign Christian Zion, so the safety from Tampa Bay. So that's something to here. I'll show you this. So that's something that to be encouraged by. Should be encouraged by the fact that Detroit is not just drafting safeties and quarterbacks. I mean, this is our weakest link. It's always going to be our weakest link. And with the fact that Terran Arnold might not be on the team because he's got some criminal records for taking his property back and kidnapping the people that stole his stuff. So that's something to consider. This is probably why we got this guy too, right? But I'll go back to Detroit's list over here. But Amik Robinson's gone to Washington, got paid. Ray Lopez, he's gone. Detroit signing, remember this, folks. Cade Mayo, offense line guy, 3 years, $25 million. 14 is guaranteed. Larry Baron, he was always wanting to come to Detroit, so that's something to always be like, oh, that's pretty cool. I don't know if that's cool or not, because if it doesn't work out for him, I hope he doesn't become bitter about it. Another huge trade for Detroit is Isaiah Pacheco. And Isaiah Pacheco, well, it's a signing, not a trade. Isaiah Pacheco is going to replace David Montgomery. And this is a good idea. I mean, they're going to get 2 speed balls going off the same time. I think the only concern about this is that either of them are good blockers. So you're just not going to know if they're going to run the ball or pass the ball. Most likely with Pacheco, you're just going to run with the ball. But if he can get his space, enough room, he'll be the legit man for that job. DJ Moore is going to the Bills. Now, the Bears are stacked with Ozone, Rome Odonze, and Cole Kmet, Jared Walker. So that's something to be concerned about for the Bears. Bears are getting stronger. They did lose their centerpiece to retirement, so it happens. Players just don't want to play forever. Guys are getting tired. They know they're not going to make it to the Super Bowl. They leave. That's what I really do think happens. A lot of guys, David Montgomery, there's a word out there that David Montgomery also kind of thought that Detroit wasn't going to make it to the Super Bowl, and they were going to lose and lose and lose. So he didn't want to stick it out. But he did go to Texas, Houston Texans, to get paid. So I get a really back and forth feeling about players that just want to get paid. I get it. You're on a bad team, but then don't play football. Fill in that spot for someone that wants to play football. That's what I feel, right? Mike Evans goes to the 49ers. I think that the 49ers need a wideout that's consistent. Age is picking up pace with Evans. But would I stay with Tampa Bay or the team that I started with and broke all those records with? I think I would. Okay? I think I would. So, I think I would. So, here we go, folks. I think I'm going to sign off. Thank you for listening to my podcast. Thank you for following. It helps me out. You can find me on Patreon, YouTube, wherever you can download podcasts. Peace, love, and I'm out of here.